perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello, welcome to A Perfect Match podcast. I am Aysha, and I am here to talk to you about Married at First Sight. And of course, I am not here alone. I am with my co-host, who was not podcasting about Married at First Sight 2 weeks ago, Jason Reed. Jason, how are you?
Aysha, great to be here with you. As much as I love talking to you about Married at First Sight, I was under the impression that we were coming here for karaoke. When is karaoke? Why are we doing this instead of karaoke? This is not cool.
You know, when you joined, I was like, put the lyrics away. Use that mic for good, and we're actually going to talk about the premiere of season 16.
But we are going to do karaoke after we talk about the show, right?
Yeah. At the end, once we close out, hang tight.
Okay.
I won't leave.
We're not recording that part, right? I don't want people to see my take on Genuine's pony. I don't want people to see that.
They need to hear your voice.
Yeah, that's just for us. That's just for the two of us.
Oh, man. If you are joining us on the podcast version, you are missing out because we are on video. We are on YouTube. We are on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel. And this is the 5th season that Rob Has a Podcast has covered Married at First Sight. So we figured, hey, it's time for y'all to put a face to a voice. If you haven't heard us on other RHAP content, so you can hear us and see all of how passionate these people make me, how much I move my hands and make faces. So I'm excited that's going to be captured this season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for the past, you've been here for 5 seasons. I've been here for 2. The past 2 seasons, people have been saying, Jason, your voice, so wonderful, so sexy, so sultry. Well, I just figured, you had to get the picture to go along with the voice. I mean, if you thought the voice was sexy enough, I mean, just look at this.
Imagine. Look at the beard.
Yeah, the beard game. It's not Shaq's beard, but it's there, right? It's not Eris's beard, thankfully. But it's there.
Yeah,
and you welcome the world to see what matches to the sultry, sexy voice that y'all have been clamoring for the last 2 seasons on this podcast.
And if you don't believe Jason, you can see that over on our Love at First Sight feed. That's where all of the Perfect Match podcasts are. We have Love is Blind coverage with me and Mary Kukowski, as well as the Ultimatum coverage is on that feed as well. So if you want to get this, you want to be the first to find out where this podcast is. If you're not on the YouTube channel, then go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, and that's where you can get all of our podcasts. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and a review. We love getting to hear what you guys think and what your opinions are. And if you have any suggestions for the podcast, this is the perfect time. The season's just kicking off.
Yeah, I mean, we were only gone for less than 2 months, but it just feels like we were gone for a year at least. Like I feel like I haven't talked to you about MAFS in forever. It feels like I haven't talked to you in forever. I mean, I tried to spark up conversation with you through the break, but every time I would text you about something, you would just text back January 4th. Like, that's all I would get back. Like I'm not talking to you again until January 4th. Leave me alone. Like, okay, that's cool. I see we're just a professional work relationship. I get it. It's cool.
It's like when your coworker tries to hit you up while you're on vacation.
Yeah. I don't want to think about you. I don't want to think about work right now. Leave me alone. Like, I like it. Like, January 4th. Like, hey, Aysha, how's your break going? January 4th. Oh, okay. Hey, did you see this news, Aysha, about Married First Night? January 4th. Okay, cool. I got it after like the first 3 times. I was like, okay, January 4th is the last time. Next time we're talking to her, fine. That's cool.
Y'all, I'm not some diva. I did respond appropriately to Jason. I even reached out to you sometimes to talk about different things, okay?
That's story. that's the tale you tell.
Okay. Well, if people believe you, which they shouldn't, where you could have seen us interacting was our Facebook group. We do have a Facebook group, which we started last season, where people have joined. We have surpassed 400 members. It's called A Perfect Match Podcast. And we talk about the episodes. We talk about updates on MAFS couples. We just talk about everything. So if you know, or you're just looking to get your opinions out, we say something, you're like, that's wrong, or oh my gosh, I agree with y'all so much, I really need you to know, then go join the Facebook group. We have been talking all throughout the off season, so that's the place to be. Look on Facebook, search A Perfect Match Podcast, and when you join, there is a password. So for this episode, the password will be
2 weeks. And you can put as many exclamation points and question marks in there as you want, as you think about this. 2 weeks. That's it. Just 2 weeks since you've done things.
Yeah.
And if you're part of our Facebook group, you'd have gotten this, like, what as much as I like to joke around with Aysha that she has not communicated with me since we ended last season. She did, as a great podcast co-host as she is, she got me something for Christmas. I'm like, what was it? A day before Christmas? A couple days before Christmas?
Yeah.
I think. I'm just sitting around on my couch, just doing nothing as I do. I don't do anything besides talk about Married First Sight. I get a text from Aysha. I say, "What is this? What is this?" As I see the little thumbnail, I say, "Who is this man that Aysha is sending me?" So I open the text, and what do I receive from the best podcast co-host for Christmas? Was a just custom cameo from one of my favorite MAFS personalities. I won't tell you who it is. I'll let you hear it yourself. Aysha, if you would be so kind to go ahead and play that.
Yes, and you will know this person if you have seen the first season that Jason covered Married at First Sight with me. So, little tease for a split second away.
Yes.
Here we go.
Jason, what's up, brother? It's your boy MTS, Mark the Shock from Married at First Sight, Boston, season 14. I just wanted to reach out and give you some props. I hear that you are the co-host for the podcast, A Perfect Match about MAFS. Aysha reached out to me and let me know how amazing you are. I also hear that you do a great MTS impression, so I got to hear that. You're going to have to drop that impression on my Instagram one day. But I appreciate the fact that you watched my journey unfold. It was definitely the craziest thing I've ever done, but I would do it again in a heartbeat because I got so many blessings from it. I hear from Aysha that you are not only hilarious, but incredibly witty. And I hear that because of you on the podcast, you guys have nothing but 5-star reviews coming in left and right. I hear that people are just devoted to the Facebook group because of you, and that everything on the podcast that you guys have been doing, people are just coming left and right because of your MTS and your deep voice. So keep doing, Jason, what you're doing. Me and Aysha are proud of you. I hope that you have a Merry Christmas. I hope that you have a Happy New Year. And I want to let you know how much Aysha appreciates your commitment and friendship to the podcast, as do I. And brother, I appreciate you for, watching the show and liking MTS. So it means a lot. I'm very humbled that people enjoyed watching me and that would like to get a video. So it means the world to me to be able to make something for you. I truly hope this makes your day. And you're going to have to drop me that impersonation because I would love to see it. You got to kill the Boston accent. I want you dropping those Oz. And Jason, all the love from Boston. Have a great New Year. Have a great Christmas. It's your boy MTS.
Boy, Mark, I tell you, I will not be dropping that impersonation on your Instagram because that's cringe. That was, I cannot tell you how much I appreciated that, how much I laughed at that. First of all, I don't believe anything Mark said there. I don't believe that he would ever do that again with Lindsay in particular. But it was such a great thing to receive. Aysha, I thanked you already, but thank you so much. That was fantastic. I did go on Cameo trying to find something to give to you, but I could not find Zach. I could not find Johnny on there. So I figured if I couldn't get your two favorites, there was no point.
Ben wasn't available.
No Ben with his mom in the background, probably. But that was fantastic. I love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I didn't get any other Christmas gift that was matched that. Just to tell you.
Besides the lovely sweatshirt from your wife.
Yes, my wife did get me a sweatshirt with our podcast logo on it. I did not wear it down here to the basement because the basement is very hot. So I would have died before the podcast was over. But I will bring it to the next podcast and show it off. My wife did get a custom sweatshirt made with our podcast logo on it. I'll show that next episode. But yeah, I had a MAFS themed Christmas this year, which is fantastic.
That's awesome because you're so devoted to this podcast.
Devoted. He's so devoted, and all of our success is only due to me. I can't believe you had him say that. Like, I'm like, what?
He took all my notes.
I can tell. I can imagine.
He did no freestyling.
Yeah.
But yes, you're so welcome, and I'm so glad he was so quick about it too. Same night. So if any of y'all want a cameo from Mark the Shark, he is quick.
But do we think he has that many coming in? He's probably like, oh my god. and referring to himself in third person was also fantastic. I'm glad you enjoyed MTS.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, let's see. Before we get started about talking about the premiere of season 16, any updates from last season 15?
Listen, these people have been a whole mess, just a real whole mess. We have, Nate and Stasha, which, if you keep up with the socials of these people, we're always being amateur sleuths, trying to find stuff in photographs, trying to find things in appearances. Like Nate was at some event and he was like hugged up on someone. We're like, is that we can't see his left hand. Where's the left hand? Where's the ring? So we were all very curious about what was going on. And I think about less than a week ago, we got confirmation that yes, Nate and Stasha have officially broken up. They are no more in MAFS land. They have kicked the bucket relationship wise. Now that's Nate and Stasha.
We suspected from from starting with the reunion through the Where Are They Now. So this was not a surprise.
Right.
If anybody had seen a single story from either one of them, you could tell that they were not present in each other's lives. So we just needed that final confirmation.
It was about the when we got the confirmation, not the if.
Yeah.
We also have one of the other couples from last season, Miguel and Lindy. Now this one is a little bit of a mystery. Lindy has been posting stuff on her own by herself without a ring, right? So that right there should be like, oh, maybe it's over. No official announcements. But then right before the new year ended, as one of those looking back on the old year before the new year comes in, she posted about all the trips that she and Miguel have taken in the last year, which seems also to indicate maybe they're still together. I don't know. If I had to put my money on it, I would say they're donezo, but
I don't know, because I know she posted respect our privacy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's also a thing where she knows if she did not post anything, people were going to continue to speculate. Reddit, Instagram, everybody, Twitter, everyone's going to continue oh, she didn't post it. No wrap up on the 2022. You got married and there was no wrap up. So
listen, we don't be cagey, y'all. We just want some news about your life. I understand you're not, you don't owe anything to us technically, but we did watch you for what seemed like, forever.
Yeah.
Just give us a little something. So we don't have confirmation with Miguel and Lindy yet, but hopefully we'll get something soon. And then there is the ongoing saga of Katina and Elijah who both posted they were done with their relationship. The relationship was over. They were parting as a married couple, but then the plot
E-News posted about it.
Yeah, E-News posted about their relationship ending.
Big deal.
But then we got a big plot twist, right? We got some vacation photos with Katina and Elijah. What was it, in a pool or something like that?
Yeah, on vacation somewhere. And the post was deleted as if it never happened.
Yeah, the breakup post was deleted.
What were we talking about? What was all the hubbub about?
If you can't find on social media, it didn't happen, right?
Yeah. They're like, what? We broke up. Didn't you see us together on vacation?
Yeah, so that never happened. They are happy And together, as far as we know, they probably called E! News trying to get that, article taken down.
Yes. I respect everyone's privacy, okay? But if you're going to do a public breakup post,
You owe it
you
to
need
us
to
to
do
explain.
a public get back together post.
And listen, I'm fine if y'all got back together. I think we've stopped hating Elijah. I'm not sure, but we're fine if y'all got back together. Just let us know.
It's
If you're
more
gonna
so
tell
like
us
recency bias.
yeah, maybe if you broke up, that's fine. If you got back together, that's fine. Just let us know. We feel like we're your friends and we want to know.
Fill us in.
Yeah. And then there's always the continuing longest mystery in MAFS land, whether or not Miles and Karen are still together or not. They will never give us a confirmation whether they have broken up or still together. So that mystery is forever to not be solved.
Which is funny because it's also like a Bennett and Amelia situation. They never would confirm, and it was always like, are they together? Are they not? We've finally come to terms they're not.
Yeah.
But with Miles and Karen, he's been spotted without a ring in public, so it's like, okay, we can assume.
But then you get all the truthers out there that come out of the woodwork like, just because you're not wearing a ring doesn't mean you're in trouble or you're broken up. A lot of people don't wear their rings. A lot of people don't put their significant others on social media, which is the other big thing. So who really for a fact knows?
Yes, who knows? And then the ongoing we got Steve and Noi.
Oh my gosh.
Of their continuous back and forth on Instagram of because Noi was on the kickoff special and she said she made the assumption, or she assumed that Steve was interested in cheating on her, is how she posted. I think he was interested in seeing other people, but she never said that, yes, Steve did cheat on me. So that was interesting because it's like,
let's be honest, she is grasping at straws. She is just throwing anything out there to try and make herself look good. And Steve, for his part, Steve plays his part so well. Steve is Mr. High Road. Steve will always come out and say, no, I know that our relationship didn't work out, but I still want things to be great for you. And I hope you're doing well. And I don't know why you're, being so mean. I really want the best for you. And like Steve, especially his last response to Noi's antics on TV was he lays it on so thick.
He's like, let me put a collage of all of our great moments together.
Yeah, you hit low. He took Michelle Obama's words too hard. Like, you hit low, we go high. Like always, no matter what.
We go as high as the sky.
Yeah, I'm going to compliment you as much as I can in every post, even though you're just saying the worst crap about me. Hey, be on the lookout for Steve's new book, which has gotten a lot of conversation because he looks like he is maybe constipated on the cover of his new book.
It's a serious stoic look.
Yeah. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. So yeah, that's kind of the roundup of the recent relationship news.
Yes.
For our MAFS couples.
Yeah. So, hey, we talk about it in the Facebook group. So go join the Facebook group if you want to discuss more, because I'm sure there are way more updates, but those are just the highlights. Those are the more recent ones. So yeah, let's get started. We are talking about the premiere 50 minutes in. Let's get started. So
I did on the I think it was the matchmaking special. They said in the beginning, they're like, we've done this for 15 seasons and we have 13 couples. Like, oh, yeah. That track record gets worse and worse every year, doesn't it, Max?
Literally, and it's sad because it's not even one per season, which isn't even the truth. Like, if you look through this MAFS playbook that I've created to just see quick and easy who's still together, who's not. It's so many seasons and 4 through 8 or 9 or just no one's together. And then now we're on this stint lately.
But we don't have too many seasons where two couples have stuck together, right? It's if we still want to count Miles and Karen. If we still want to count Miles and Karen, we can say season 11 had 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Other than that, what other seasons have had 2?
We have season 8, AJ and Stephanie and Keith and Christine are still together.
Okay. Yeah, I like to forget season 8 happened. That's
And
the
then
boring
season 9, Jamie and Elizabeth, and then Deanna and Greg.
Okay, yeah. So there are a bunch of seasons with 2. That's kind of saving the
A bunch.
average. Yeah, that's kind of saving the average
Yes,
for the show.
exactly. To balance out the seasons where no
The
one ended up
zeros.
together. Yeah.
I want to know who they're counting as their 13. Are they still counting Elijah and Tina? Are they counting
Oh, they're gonna hang
Lindy and
on to that.
Miguel?
They said we have no confirmation that it ding.
You think a mass producers call them like, can you just not like announce your breakup until like the show has aired? Like that's not a
That's
memo to
probably
Love
what
is
they do
Blind.
with Stasha and Nate.
Maybe that's not the memo the Love is Blind people got, because they were like they call it quits right before the after the Ultra special comes out. Like I don't care what the Love after the Ultra special says, we are done.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's jump right in. I mean, we didn't even get a full wedding on this season or in this episode. I was really hoping, but I did appreciate that the premiere was not 3 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, because the premiere wasn't 3 hours, we didn't get one wedding.
I know, but I don't know. Let's dive right in, but we're going to do something fun. As we get to know these people throughout these segments, we are going to make our own claims on if they are ready for marriage or if they are not. Our own beliefs, right? So
just based off the intro packages that we got, because I'm just pretty much every single person got an intro package when they came on screen for this. So just based on that, we're going to say whether they're ready or not ready to be married.
Right, exactly. So let's get started. The first couple we were introduced to was it's Kirsten, not Kirsten, right? Kirsten.
Yeah, like our friend podcaster Kirsten McGinnis. I think it is Kirsten.
Yes. So Kirsten and Shaquille. So I think the easiest way where I'm gonna refer to him and you as well is Shaq. So okay. So first we meet Kirsten. So she's 32. She's breaking the news to her mom and her family and her friends, and she tells them like, okay, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. And we get this rundown, like with everybody, they give us a little bit like more about them. And so with her, she's not used to things not going her way. She's picky about any and everything, like picking over Supreme Pizza. I think that's okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't order the Supreme Pizza if no one else wants the Supreme Pizza. That's rude.
Right.
Like if I say I don't like the Supreme Pizza, don't get the Supreme Pizza. Get me the pepperoni pizza. I want pepperoni. I don't want Supreme. I don't want everything on my pizza. Right,
exactly. But she says she also picks over her men too. So she just has a very high standard for men because herself, she has a master's degree. She also obviously has a bachelor's degree because she has a master's degree. She's a real estate agent. She wants a man who is as educated as she is.
No, I took the whole degree stuff to have. She has a master's in one thing, which is a different field of study. Then she has a bachelor's in a different field of study, right?
Yes.
It's like I got my bachelor's and then my master's. She's claiming they're two different things.
Right. Yeah. But to get a master's, the prerequisite is a bachelor's.
Right, but she's not saying that. She's not claiming that her bachelor's is the same as her master's.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I thought that's what you were like.
She said it out of order. She said master's first, as I was like, that was interesting. But yeah, no, yes.
Okay, I thought it was like, why did you say like you have two different degrees? She does have two different fields of study.
Yes.
Which is a lot, and then she ends up being a real estate agent.
Literally, that's what I was about to say. She's the one occupation that you don't need a degree to be a real estate agent.
You think her parents were like, gee, thanks for being a real estate agent. When we spent all that money to send you to college to get all these other degrees, you could have saved probably about $100,000 more than that on this college education that you just threw away to be a real estate agent.
She's like, I couldn't make up my mind. Okay. So she wants a guy who's as attractive as she is, well-dressed, a churchgoer, ambitious, positive mindset.
Red flag. You can't say as attractive as I am. You can't do that.
That's a big statement because, I mean, obviously, it's very subjective.
You can't call it out. Yes, you're attractive, but you can't call it out about yourself.
That's called confidence.
Sometimes you have overconfidence.
Right. That as attractive as she is.
But you can't say that about yourself.
Right. Because, like, okay, in her own eyes, she's attractive. And so she's like, in her own eyes, she wants him to be as attractive as she sees herself. But I'm sure she's always going to see herself as the supreme attractiveness.
But she could have just said, I want someone that's attractive.
It's attractive, yeah.
Yeah. Not as attractive as I am. I am a 10. I need a 10 as well.
That's her saying that just told us so much about her. She says she doesn't just give anybody a chance. And so, you know, that's who she is. Her mom tells her like she's worthy of love. So, you know, they're excited for her. Like they want the best for her. So it's funny because if you've seen the episode, what she's describing is Shaquille in our eyes. But I
handsome.
don't.
I mean, it's subjective whether or not you will find Shaq as
attractive as
she is, or attractive in general.
True.
So I mean, but to us, I just being subjective, I would say that Shaq is what most people would probably consider attractive. Yes,
I would think so too. But
maybe not as attractive as she is, which might be, but that's just my viewpoint because as a heterosexual male, you know, I don't know.
I think from the outside, as not Kirsten, okay, I think he is as attractive as she is.
Okay.
But then if I take my shoes off and I grab Kirsten's heels and put them on,
walk a mile in her heels.
You're right. I'm like, if I look at Shaq, am I thinking first glance, oh?
Are you thinking like, I'm up here, he's kind of down here a little bit? Is that what she's gonna think as she turns that corner next episode to, you know, look at him down the aisle?
I think so. And sorry for everybody that's watching the video. We're gonna show this so you can see who we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I have a picture up of Kirsten and Shaquille.
She does not look impressed
at all. And he doesn't look pleased. He doesn't look like
it looks like they had their first meeting and she already told him like, this ain't gonna work out.
You ain't it.
No, you ain't
she already said, you check none of my boxes.
He said, but did you see the fit though? Did you see the hunter green tux?
Right.
She's like, I don't care about that. You bald.
Right. Yeah, so in looking at these two, I feel like they look great together and that they meet each other's criteria. It's specifically talking from her vantage point right now. He is everything that she described, but I think she had the bar is on Mars.
I think she wanted a model up there. And as she's describing every single thing she wants, it's like this, it's impossible for any man to have all of this that you want.
Right.
But Shaq has most of what you want. Maybe just not, 10 in looks. That's all we're missing. And I would say he's probably like a 7 or an 8.
Right. Like he's a 10 to somebody.
Yeah, he's somebody's 10.
But to her, I think especially because it matters so much, this first impression. When they see them, that's their instant, like, she's not going to see that, he's well-dressed first, or she's not going to see his accomplishments or his passions or how ambitious he is. She's going to look at his face and determine if she finds him attractive or not. And I am so concerned that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I'm right with you because she, as we get introduced to these people, they will have their different takes on how much attractiveness means to them. And I feel like for Kirsten, it means a lot because she mentioned it a lot. And when we have those people, like we had a couple of seasons ago, we had Alyssa, who, looks was everything. Now, I don't know if it's going to be everything in that way to Kirsten, but I think that it's going to be an issue.
Yeah. And even people in the Facebook group brought up Mirla of having, these high standards. And she avidly did not want a bald head. And even though she got a bald head, they made it work through the 8 weeks.
We thought. we thought.
But then it wasn't his looks at the end of the day that ended things.
Yeah.
It was behavior. So I think if she can stick with it and get past that, I just don't know if she's the type of person that will get past that because it's so important to her.
You know, could this be a Jamie Doug situation where she gets to know him and gets past the looks of it all? Maybe so. All right. So that's Kirsten.
So, okay. So Kirsten, is she ready or is she not ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I said not ready. Jason said ready.
I think she's ready. She just might not be ready with Shaq.
Oh,
but if she's not ready with Shaq, is she ready for anyone?
Exactly. She is ready for the perfect person. Yes. That person does not exist. Therefore, that led me to my not ready.
But I think she could get ready. I think.
So if she could get ready.
You say she's not ready now. Okay. Okay. I get it. I understand. Yeah. All right. I'm still gonna stick with my ready. But she got it. She still has a way to get ready. I think she will be ready.
Okay. So with Shaq, okay, he breaks the news to his friends. He's 31. He talks about how when he was 7, he was involved in a car accident. He woke up around a barbed wire fence, and the doctor said he couldn't play sports from 1st grade to 8th grade. So that led him into focusing on other things, like being focused on his education and getting into like fashion. He said he's the executive director at Tennessee State University. He's currently working on his doctorate. He said his life has always been busy, which is why he's single, because he feels like this is the only situation where he can get married is someone just slips a ring on his finger and said, "Here, you have to be committed."
Red flag. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You cannot be like, all right, I'm gonna force you to commitment. Now you gotta get ready and adjust. That's not how that works. You should be ready before you slip on the ring.
Yeah. He tells his friends this is what he prayed for. He feels like he didn't come to Nashville for a job. He came to Nashville to find true love. So he feels like this is exactly what he is supposed to be doing.
He said that God led him to Nashville for this specifically. If I'm God, I'm like, hey, don't put that on me, bro. That was on you. Don't put MAFS on. Don't put that decision on me. You decided that, not me.
Right? He's like, wait a second. I have other things going on, and you being on Married at First Sight, was not on the priority
MAFS
list.
is like number affinity and 1,000 on my priority list with you, bro.
It's just, this is so hard to hear because, like we just said, like explaining all of that, he meets her criteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I need to know more about why he's single.
Yeah. So like at the end of every couples thing, Cal comes on and says why they were matched together.
Which
you're not buying it?
I'm not buying it. I feel like what they say here, we could come up with after watching each segment.
Yeah.
Like what I'm looking for from Pastor Cal or Dr. Pepper and these things is tell me something like really, I want to buy what you're selling, right?
Let's dig deeper to the social science other than these
matching.
These surface things that you are talking about. Like he has a doctorate, she has a master's, they're both educated. That's what they want. Boom,
perfect.
Done. Yeah, so I mean, like Cal says, Shaq is looking for a wife that is as passionate and driven as him, while Kirsten has high expectations for what she wants in a husband, and Shaq will exceed those expectations. And education is important for them both, so they will be, get ready, folks, the dreaded 2 words, they will be a power couple. You know who else is a power couple? Stasha and Nate last season. See how well that worked out. Yeah. Okay. Shaq's readiness or not readiness.
Okay. He is 31 And I don't believe we heard mention of him being in a serious relationship. I think he said when he was with the guys, like,
So yeah, on After Party, he said it's been 6 months since he had been intimate with someone.
Intimate, yes. Which with these guys, hey, they all love to be intimate.
Yes.
But I think I was trying to remember if it was him or someone else that said that they had never lived with a woman.
That was for sure. Eris has never lived with a woman.
Okay, it was Eris. Okay.
Now Shaq says that a lot of his relationships ended because of long distance, because he would have to move away because apparently in his job he's moved a lot to.
And he said that on After Party. Yes.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of his relationships fizzled out. So I would imagine if he's talking that way, he has had a lot of long-term relationships.
You know what's funny that I just thought about? So he said on an After Party, he said he's been in Texas and he's been in Louisiana.
He's been trying to get on MAFS for a long time.
Imagine he applied for the Dallas season. He applied for the Houston season, New Orleans.
He's pulling our buddy. He's pulling our buddy Mark the Sharks move, trying to get on Married at First Sight. First you don't succeed, try again. Yeah.
I think he would have been. I mean, like, okay, we haven't even seen them meet each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he would have been a good candidate for Love Is Blind.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
like,
sure.
I feel like he's the type of guy because like we said, he's somebody's 10.
Mm-hmm. He didn't mention looks whatsoever during this whole episode, so maybe it doesn't matter that much to him.
Yeah, and I feel like knowing more about him makes him more attractive. Mm-hmm. Like when I saw him on After Party, now that I knew a little bit more about him, I was like, okay, Shaq.
His beard is so interesting to me because it looks like it's like a prop beard that was like pasted on to his to his face.
Yeah.
It just looks like it doesn't belong on his face.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like there could be a woman that hears and gets to know him, gets to know his personality, gets to know about him, and then when he meet, like, it could be like great. But I'm just so concerned with her. But okay, back on Shaq. Do you think he's ready or not ready for marriage?
All right,
so
here we go.
1, 2, 3. Okay. We agree. We both say he's ready.
He's ready.
We just don't know if Kirsten is ready for him. Simple as that. So we're going to, usually on these podcasts, we go couple by couple, but because of the way the format was this episode, we're going to go in the order of the episode. So next, we are introduced to Dominique and McKinley.
Who, throughout this whole first episode, I thought his name was Mackenzie. So that should tell you how memorable McKinley is. And I will be referring to him as Mac. I'll be referring to both these people as Mac and Dom, just to simplify things for me.
Hey, Rudy on After Party did refer to him as Mac. So I said, hey, that's all the go-ahead I needed.
Exactly. So we start out with their segment with Dom is meeting her friends by the pool. I think their friends know about the process. So she's talking to them about girls' night out. Like, oh, if I get married, I can't do girls' night out all the time. Like, oh no, we're gonna make you. Cute little banter back and forth. And she tells them, and they're ecstatic for her. All the interesting, juxtapositions of who was excited and who wasn't in the families was fun. And throughout this episode, as it usually really are in these first introduction episodes. So then we get our intro to Dom.
Real quick on Girls' Night Out.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good girls' night out, but I'm not talking about it every 5 seconds. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it was such a part of her personality.
Yeah, it was a big deal for her. And for someone that, as we're going to talk about, refers to themselves so much as an old soul, I did not see that throughout this episode.
That's it. Like, literally, that's the key that got her in to be matched with an older man
Mhm.
was the fact that she herself claimed to be an old soul.
Yes.
Because it's not in her character. Like, you don't see that at all.
Yes. So she does describe herself. She's, I'm an old soul. I'm more mature than, usual 25-year-olds. I feel like it's being brought up as an only child with a single mom. She talks about her mom as a single mom. She was independent. She learned a lot from her. And she talks to her mom multiple times a day. And to prove this fact, she's going to call her mom during a, Married at First Sight interview. And she has her mom talk on camera through a phone about, insights from her mom on the exes that she has been with in the past. Mom says, you were ready, but they weren't ready. Mom thinks that MAFS would do a better job at picking someone outside of her box. And we also find out that her mom signed her up for this as if it was like soccer tryouts. and Dom just decided to go through with it, which red flag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Red flag. No, you cannot be forced into this and then be like, sure, I'll give it a chance. That you're not going to have the commitment you need if you're being forced into this, as we have seen many times before.
You have to want it.
Yes.
You have to want it first and foremost, because somebody else wants it more for you. Toya, her mom, is not the one in the 8-week experiment.
Right.
We probably won't hear from Toya again until, because I guarantee her storyline is going to be the girls' night out. So we're going to see plenty of her friends. Maybe we might see Toya once, but she's not living the 8 weeks. It's going to be Dominique who has to put in the work with Mac. And that's my biggest concern.
Yeah. And, she also talks about how she's, looking for her full-time cuddle buddy. That's not what this is. This isn't cuddle buddy at first sight. This is Married at First Sight.
That's not all marriage is, Jason?
No, it certainly is not. You do get a cuddle buddy out of it most times, but that's a perk, not a, not a thing to
the
to
main
do it for.
job description.
Right. And they talk more. Her and her friends talk, and her friend says, "Well, you've done a lot worse with a stranger than marriage." Whoa. So, yeah. Oh, and Dom's mom sounds like the kind of person that's like, when your kid does something bad, it's never the kid's fault. It's whoever else is involved fault. Like, mom's like, no, you have been good. Those people just weren't ready for you. You are perfect. You are an angel. When she probably doesn't know the half of Dom's relationship issues that a lot of it's probably been on Dom.
Right. Like, Toya's not at every girls' night out.
Mm-hmm. She's only hearing what she's hearing from Dom. She's not hearing it. So she thinks Dom's a perfect little angel, which she, I don't know if that's right or not. So Dom, the 25-year-old old soul.
Okay. Listen, I talk to my mom every day. Mm-hmm. I do. And my mom listens to this podcast.
As proven by the wonderful review she left last season.
Right. But there was so much of her package that I feel like, do we even know Dom?
From the package, no. We'll get to know Dom a lot better later in the episode,
right?
Which tells us a lot even more about Dom. But it's really a really thin profile on Dom so far. We don't know a lot about her, to your point.
Because from this, it's like, we found out, like, especially comparing to the last couple, I feel like we really found out about Kirsten and Shaq, who they are as people. Yeah. With Dom, she loves a good girls' night out, describes herself as an old soul, and her mom is her best friend. Like, it makes her seem so surface level, which I know she has depth. Do
you know that?
I feel like everyone has depth. Does everyone not have depth?
Everyone has depth, but all our depths are not the same. We all have different levels of depths, okay? Yeah. And so far, what I'm getting from Dom's depth is like kiddie pool level depth. Okay?
Because she's 25.
Hey, I don't mean to, disparage 20-somethings. I was a 20-something a long time ago.
As was I.
Yeah, so I don't want to disparage it, but, They're not a lot. Some of them don't have a lot of depth, and that's okay. That's not a problem. I do want to point out this interesting like moment from the matchmaking special. Dr. Pepper talked about Dominique. She's like, and you know, Dominique is biracial and her stepdad is white, so she'll be okay with being married to a white man. I said, what? Oh,
This
Dr. Pepper.
What are you, red flag on Dr. Pepper?
What are you doing, Dr. Pepper? We don't need to justify interracial couples.
Yeah, the logic wasn't quite there. I mean, there are other things that, yeah, there are other qualities about people that show that they're okay dating interracially.
It's like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
I just had to point that out since we didn't cover the matchmaking special. That one line drove. I was like, wait, it stopped me in my tracks for sure.
Yeah. I didn't know what when I heard that. I said, wait, what?
I know I did not hear what I thought I just heard.
Right. Oh man, yeah. I know that it has to be cut down for our viewing purposes. However, I just want to learn something new that for the reason for the match and not just like a short soundbite.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, because based on Dominique's past partners, we know that McKinley would be a great fit because she's dated guys similar to him. Not, well, her stepdad is white, so that might be okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dominique, I feel like I know what your answer is going to be.
Easy.
So ready? Not ready? 1, 2, 3. Not.
We
ready.
are both
We're
saying
both.
not ready.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Not from like this like intro package, but later on, she ain't ready, folks. And I think if anyone has seen more than the preview we got at the end of this show, they've actually shown a good season preview, which is not like Married at First Sight. They usually hold that until later. But Dominique's gonna be in trouble, I think.
Yeah, something happens. We don't know what happens, but something happens between these two that require expert intervention early on.
And a walk of shame.
Because we know we don't see the experts for weeks. So the fact that Pastor Kyle is saying something this early on.
Yeah. And she's a walk of shame with a box of her things, like she's being fired from a job.
Her job on Married at First Sight.
Yeah. So that's...
If Alyssa lasted longer than Dominique, that is problem. Yes.
Oh boy.
McKinley seems like a fine guy.
McKinley, aka Mac.
Yes.
34 years old, introverted dreamer. Moved here from Flint, Michigan 4 months ago. Is now staying with a family friend. Something I noticed about a lot of these cast members, they are very recent transplants to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I meant to say this in the beginning, very disappointed in Married at First Sight that we're in Nashville. Where are our country singers?
Yeah.
That's what Nashville is known for. We don't have any accents, barely. I think Kirsten has an accent, but we don't have any Nashville twang.
Right.
We don't got no country singers. where I want to be doing this impression all season, and I can't. I don't got no Nashville people.
I would say they tried, like Clint is the closest they got to that.
Oh my gosh. If Clint is the closest we can get, it's not doing it. That's not doing the thing it's supposed to be doing.
Right.
So yeah, that's out of the way. He moved here from Flint, Michigan 4 months ago. Staying with a family friend, kind of, I guess, couch surfing, staying in a guest house. I don't know what the situation is. He talks about, he drops the bomb on his kind of adopted family here in Nashville. Like he's getting married. His, adoptive mom is happy. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. When he gets introduced, he says he considers himself a sleeper. Once you get to know him, he is, at first he's very reserved and shy, but once you get to know him, he's outgoing and he's sassy. He talks about how his siblings are both super successful people, went to college, graduated, but he ended up dropping out of college and starting a marijuana business. He talks about how his parents were married for 45 years. And then he tells this story about his previous relationship. He says, yeah, me and my ex, we were on the verge of getting engaged, but all of a sudden one day she texted me a picture of a ring. And this is Mac talking. He says, I'm thinking it's a picture of a ring that she wants. But no, she told me that she is now engaged to someone else. He talks about how heartbroken that was for him. He talks about how this, though, is meant to be. He's ready. He's looking for love, ready to settle down, and wants what the rest of his family has in a lifelong partner.
On After Party, he was there talking about this story, and he says that she actually, he had the other guy, the guy who proposed to this woman, reached out to him and was like, hey, I've been seeing her. And then he talked to his ex about it and determined okay, that wasn't a thing.
Well, so it was 6 months prior to this engagement thing that the other guy reached out, said, hey, I didn't know about you, but I now know about you. So I feel like I have to let you know that this is going on. I'm
coming to you man to man.
And telling him what happened. And he decided to forgive his girlfriend at the time. And then they went on with a normal relationship. So he thought. And then 6 months later, this bomb gets dropped on him that she's engaged to this other guy. What happened to the bro code before, man? You let me know that you were with my girl and now you're just engaged to her now?
She had to be lying.
He was probably like, hey, I told you, that's all I can do. If she comes back, that's up to her. Well, at least I told you.
Yeah. He's like, it's out of my hands now. I did my part. I'm not in that relationship.
Here's a problem with Mac. If not for this story, I would have forgotten he even existed. There's nothing about Mac that is
even more so than Chris.
Chris is worse, but they're in the same boat. They're in the same boat. I would not remember that Mac was on the show if not for this story.
This is his claim to fame on the show, is this story, because it's so mind-blowing. I'm like, wait, how did this happen where she was in such an intense, such another serious relationship to end up engaged? So it's like,
does that show he's a pushover? Does that show he's I don't want to use this term. Well,
you've already said pushover, so.
But he's what some people would maybe call a beta male. Do you think that this is something to that effect? We also got a story from his buddy Timmy about how when they were in high school for a talent show, Mac wrote a poem for his ex-girlfriend and recited it in front of the whole school to try and win her back.
Listen, Mac is a lover. He is a lover boy. Call him Drake, if you will. And it's okay to love hard, but it's also like you want him to protect his heart too, because there's no way.
You want to be smart about it as well. And how a woman can cheat on you, you forgive her, and then not be vigilant enough to realize that she's still doing it. Maybe he's not looking for those signs that's maybe right in front of him.
Look, the last thing I'm going to do is blame Mac for her getting engaged.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I can blame him for not seeing the signs he probably should have seen. Because according to him, they were just about living together 5 days a week. He says she was over at his place, and in those 6 months, y'all were, he says they hooked up the night before.
Before he got the picture,
and he said hooked up, which again is not a phrase I would use for a serious girlfriend. Like, we hooked up.
Very true.
So the story is not all the way adding up for me, but Mac's interesting. To say the least. Well, no, he's not interesting. He's a little boring.
He is so interesting.
But this aspect of him is interesting.
Right. Because there's no way he doesn't have trust issues after this. And I don't know. It's just not. He didn't describe the situation like it was a lesson learned. Like,
Right.
okay, I need to, like, in hindsight, I could see these things with her, which is like, now I can see it. It was more so, oh, that happened. Here I am now. And I just feel like if we're thinking of his ex and then we look and see Dominique, Dominique doesn't strike me as the person who's going to immediately protect his heart.
This could be history repeating itself. Unfortunately for Mac.
I'm so nervous for him. Like,
and I want to protect Mac. Mac is like a little baby I want to protect. And,
that's how I feel.
You know, I have a bad feeling it's not going to go well for these two. But you know, for the match part, Cal does say they've been matched because of their attachment styles. He says while they each understand about being supportive and involved, they also like independence and don't want a spouse that is needy. Dom is looking for an older, emotionally mature guy, which Mac is, and Mac is looking for an optimistic and outgoing partner that will bring him out of his shell. Again, surfacey stuff. We have an introvert and an extrovert. Like, you know,
they're gonna balance each other out,
right? They use less of that terminology in this episode. Yes. I think they heard our pleas, like, stop using the B word. Yes. So yeah, that's interesting. So
you know who would have been great for Mac? And this is even without knowing
any other basic woman that we've seen on MAFS.
I was gonna say Kristen.
I mean, yeah, but I mean that's just because McKinley just seemed like a guy. Like he's just
he could
a nice guy.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
He could go with anyone.
He's showing me no levels, no texture yet.
Yeah.
So I could say that for any nice woman we've had on MAFS. I could say that for Kristen. I can say that for Olivia from the New Orleans season. I can say that for a lot of these, just, you know,
Alyssa probably would have liked him.
Oh, I would not put that on him. I would not curse him like that.
I feel like he's okay. Let me put his picture back up.
He's not a cowboy, Asia. He's not a cowboy.
Oh, that's true. She would want Clint.
She would think he's from Nashville. She would think he is a cowboy, but she would be mistaken. He's come from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
He's more of a dapper, you know.
Oh, he shaved his beard didn't he have a beard? Didn't we?
No, you're thinking of Chris. You're thinking of Chris.
No.
You're mixing them up.
I feel like on the episode he had some type of stubble.
Maybe.
And he cut it for the wedding, I guess. But
that's the only thing that differentiates Chris and McKinley for me is the beard.
Yeah.
I say Chris has a beard. Mac does not.
Yeah. I mean, we're still getting to know him. But here they look very happy. And this is after they have met at the wedding day. So she could just be putting on for the picture.
For Dom, the wedding is going to be a party. She's going to be having fun at the wedding. I think it's going to be what happens. I think it's going to be once they get to real life, they're going to have these struggles. So for Mac, ready, not ready. I feel like I can't have a great read on this since he's just kind of a guy, but here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ready. Okay. We both have ready. Yeah, I mean he seems like a guy that wants a wife.
Yeah, literally. I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, so that's Dom and Mac.
All right. So next up, we have another couple that is a little bit of a mystery on the groom side. Mm-hmm. So gotta go ahead and share their picture. So we have Nicole and Chris. This is another case of an outgoing woman.
Yep.
With a not outgoing man.
With a boring man, you can say.
I don't want to put that on him until we know more. He could have been under edited. But first we meet Nicole. So she meets up with her friends. She has not told any of these friends anything about this process. We found out on after party that she told them, hey, I'm doing this dating show. They just want to get some shots of me with my friends. So they are completely, because usually going into this, people, we assume that they know, they've been in the process. They just don't know the final decision. They didn't know she was trying to do Married at First Sight at all. She tells them, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. The genuine shock.
The jaw drop on two. I think she told one. I think the woman knew that she was doing the process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the two men knew.
Yeah.
And the jaw drop on their faces was so perfect. It's like, wait, you're what? You're what? No. I think even like the guy was like, Nicole, no.
Right? You're joking. They were literally taken aback. They had no idea. So she is just explaining like that she's ready to be married, and she actually starts crying about it as she's explaining it to them. So we get her explanation, or like her little package. So she's 32. She says she has too big of a heart.
Listen, like, I don't know much about like the Housewives franchise, but I do know they have like these like catchphrases they describe themselves as.
Yeah.
And Nicole comes out here like a housewife. She's like, I'm a bitch that has too big of a heart.
Yeah.
Like,
hair flip.
yeah, wow. Like, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, she says she's always serving up a side of sass. She grew up in Queens. So now that this is resonating with us, we get it. We can kind of get who she is. She said her mom calls herself the FBI because she's a full-blooded Italian and her dad is Jewish. She's like, so sometimes we got to stick the FBI on people. So sometimes they may need the real FBI. So she is explaining herself as if she's about to be a contestant on Big Brother. She's like, don't cross me.
Yeah. I'll come after you.
Right. She has a dog named Charlie. She said he's a fellow Libra like her.
Libra season. What? Let's go.
Which is funny. So she's dedicated to her dog. And if this is your first time joining our podcast, I am a dedicated dog mom as well.
Listen, when she did piggy puppet theater with her dog,
yes,
I said Aysha does this 100%. I've heard Aysha talk to her dogs. When we're not on hot mics, I've heard her talking to her dogs. This is exactly what Aysha does with her dogs.
Listen, they really do understand what you're saying. They do, like they really do. The more you talk to them, the more it's like, oh my gosh, they really understood what I was saying, or how, and especially how we're saying it. Like if they tear something up and I'm like, why did you do that? Then they're like, they tuck their tail like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Or if Pepper's barking. So my dogs are Pepper and Cinnamon. So this is Pepper. I need to get one for Cinnamon. The Spice Girls. Yes. So this is Pepper. And so Pepper, if she's barking at the neighbor, she knows she's not supposed to be doing that. I always used to send her to timeout, but ever since Cinnamon came, I stopped sending Pepper to timeout because I'm like, she just needs to learn. The other day, I went outside and said, Pepper, why are you barking? She runs inside and goes to her old timeout spot.
Oh, Pepper.
They know what they should and shouldn't do. So it's just like, you just got to keep repetition, keep talking to them. So I love this for her because she's giving her dog Charlie the power of choice.
So important.
Yeah. She also tells Nicole tells us she paints every single red flag green.
At least you know that about yourself. I appreciate her recognizing that yes. She does that. She overlooks problems, and
self-awareness is key. Because and I'm glad they didn't give her someone toxic. At least I don't think Chris is toxic. He seems like he means well.
Yeah.
But, she's looking forward to doing a lot of the little things together. And she's in the confessional. She's like, yeah, like, I'm looking forward to us taking our dog on a walk. She's like, oh my God, I just said our dog. Oh my gosh, that really just hit me. And she starts tearing up. She's like, oh my God, I'm really seeing it. Like I said, our dog, like Charlie's going to be our dog.
I think that could be an Aysha confessional if you were on the show. 100%.
I was like, whoa, that really hit her in that moment. I'm glad we got to see the thought process. And so once we're done with her package, we go back to her and her friends. And so her friend was like, look, I wouldn't even buy a car without test driving it. And she's like, well, if he's not good in bed, then, I could teach him. So she says this is her last resort, which is not a good sign when anyone says married at first sight.
What happens when this fails? What is your second last resort? Like,
that's it.
You're just not going to get married ever. You're just going to be spending your life single.
She's only 32. Like,
given up.
If she was 45, no, not even 40. Everyone you can
find love at any age.
Any age. You could be 80 years old and find love. Married at First Sight does not need as much as I love this show. Trust me. As many hours have I spent watching this show and podcasting about it. It should not be anyone's last resort.
Here's the good news, Nicole. There are countless members of the Married at First Sight cast that have gone on to find marriage and love after the show.
Yes.
So this doesn't have to be your last resort. This is just a good practice run for many people to find out what they do and do not want.
Exactly.
Which is, weird to say for the show, but that's kind of what it turns out to be in most cases, is a trial run at marriage. Okay.
Right.
To figure out what you can and cannot stand, what you do and do not want. So Nicole, don't make this your last resort. Make this an upgrade on what you thought you knew, and take it as that. Because if this is your last resort, I'm sad to say the track record of this show does not speak kindly to what your result's going to be.
I kept hearing people say, "I'm just trusting the experts."
Why? I say it every season. Why are you trusting the experts? Why are you trusting the process? You should not be doing that. It has been shown to not be successful, people.
You have to go into this with the mindset of, okay, there are 5 couples. I could be one of the 4 that don't work out. I have to be okay with that. I have to be able to handle that this could most likely end in a breakup / divorce.
Embrace the adventure, embrace the experiment of it, embrace that part of it. Don't go into this thinking this is an automatic, because it's just not. We've seen enough sample size to know that more than likely this is not going to work out.
This is not season 1, people. This is season 16. And if you have not watched at least a couple seasons before going onto this show,
come on, what are you doing? Come on, our show is old enough to drive. Like, we've seen enough. We know
our show can have a job.
Yeah,
okay?
This show can work, but the likelihood is low.
Yeah, you just have to be. I think the problem is nothing's wrong with being optimistic. I live life optimistically. I truly do. But you also have to sprinkle in some realism. So you have to be realistic about the fact that, okay, 5 out of 5 couples are not going to end up together. Am I okay if that's the situation?
And listen, we say this knowing that this may or may not work out, but I don't blame anyone for this. We talk about the experts all the time, how they mismatch people, but they don't really know these people. And let's be honest, the experts aren't really the one matching these people. They're producers matching them. But what? Oh my God. But it's hard to match strangers together. It's a hard job. I mean, the success rate's not going to be fantastic.
And even watching the matchmaking special, I mean, they'll really like someone, and then they'll say, okay, we have these 2 other people that we also
try to
really
fit
like.
a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
So it's what it is. They have to cast people that are going to be good for TV, that are going to be, I don't know why they cast Chris, but hey, that's another issue. So I mean, they have to cast that with that in mind. So it's not going to be your boring people that are going to get cast together, because then we're not going to have an entertaining show. We need an entertaining show. We need entertaining characters.
Right. Or else we wouldn't be watching.
Yes.
So with Nicole, is she ready or not ready for marriage? 1, 2, 3. All right. We both say
She's
ready.
ready.
Yeah,
she's ready. I think that nothing here made me think she wasn't ready. Okay.
Yeah.
She really wants it. It feels like she's going to be very dedicated to trying to make it work.
Yep.
So I didn't raise my red flag.
You sure didn't.
Yeah. So,
she didn't point out any major deal breakers, so that she strikes me as a Kristen. Like, she is going to try her hardest to make this work.
Yes.
So that's all we can ask.
She struck me as a Kristen. She might end up being like a Lindsay that is like very weird and interesting.
Yeah.
But I hope she's more Kristen than a Lindsay.
Right. So her other half in this situation is Chris.
If
we gotta stop casting Chris's. Like, there's so many Chris's.
They ran out of Ryans, so now they're doing the Chris's.
That's an off-season podcast. Ryan versus Chris.
That's a Survivor brand steal if I ever heard one. Yeah. But listen, if intro packages could talk, this one would say nothing. You're gonna go into it, but oof.
Yeah. So he's talking with his friend Bo. Bo is shocked that he's getting married in 2 weeks. He looks genuinely concerned, like a concerned friend. Like, I really want to tell you this is not a good idea, but I also want you to do what you want to do. So I'm just going to be quiet and just kind of like sit here very concerned.
I'm going to watch from a distance to kind of wince.
Right. I'll be here to hold you when it's over.
Yeah.
So we get his intro package. He's 36. He likes to make people laugh. Show us, don't tell us. Please. Please. Show us. But then he proceeds to try to show us and does an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
Just really bombs.
I looked away for a second. I said, is Arnold on Married at First Sight?
See, here's the problem with Chris being too nice. People are afraid to tell him that his impressions are bad. They're just like, oh, can you imagine being at a party and Chris does his impressions? She's like, oh, that is so funny. Oh my gosh, you are a hoot as they walk away and make an expression like, oh God, that was terrible.
You know what happened? He did it one time for the first time. Someone laughed so hard. He said, that's my thing.
Boom, got it.
Moving forward, that is fun fact. I can do an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And when he was doing it in his confessional, he was so proud of himself. Like, it was like, see, good, right?
Right?
Good.
Am I Chris or am I Arnold? I don't know.
You don't even know. Close your eyes. You don't know who you're talking to.
Right. Oh gosh, yeah. So he's a hopeless romantic. So we've seen that before with Miguel. He says he's pretty selfless. He also says him and everyone else around him is baffled that he hasn't found someone.
Shocked.
Yeah, he wants someone who's pretty similar to him, which I don't peg Nicole as, unless there are other qualities that we don't know about yet. And
they're both hilarious. What do you mean, Aysha?
He says multiple times that nice guys shouldn't always finish last.
Hopefully, nice guy will finish first this time.
Right. This is the time. And so Pastor Cal's explanation of why they're together, they're both big-hearted. They both have fears of not finding their other half. When I also have a fear of not finding my other half, Pastor Cal. Am I a great match for Chris?
Usually you find someone else that shares that same fear and you would be perfect matches.
Absolutely. He says Chris will be a safe space for Nicole because she has that fear of not finding her other half. Chris wants a marriage full of goofiness, and Nicole doesn't take herself too seriously. He has a dog. She has a dog. So they're going to be great dog parents.
Perfect. I can't think of any other better, as we saw last season, because you both have a dog, going to be perfect. Not that's not going to work.
You got to know how to introduce the dogs.
Yeah.
You also got to have things in common. You got to have things to talk about when the dogs aren't there. What happens when the dogs go to daycare? Then what? Y'all just going to talk about the dogs until they come back?
Listen, in the MAFS gift basket this from last season on, there needs to be a guidebook on how to introduce dogs into their wedding gift basket if they both have dogs. Like, we can't have another dog fight this season. We can't.
Listen,
we can't.
If you're listening to this and you are cast on a future season of Married at First Sight and you yourself have a dog, DM me. I'm no pro, but I do know how to introduce dogs.
She has experience, people.
So, in case you're confused. So, it brings us to Chris. Is he ready? Is he not ready? He's 36. See, I'm so torn on him. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay,
sure.
We both think he's ready.
Sure.
He's ready.
Why? Again,
why wouldn't he be?
Why not? Why not? He gave us nothing. He just seems like a random guy.
Yes.
Seems like a nice guy. Well, those are the ones you gotta look out for. Just saying that.
Really, because like if I think about Henry and Christina from season 11, Henry was such a nice guy.
Yeah. And then he got placed
that
with
didn't work out for him.
A blackmailer and a compulsive liar.
Right. It matters who you're matched with.
Yes.
And I think with them, I think if he can embrace her for who she is fully, it's kind of like with Mark and Lindsay. Like if Mark was able to like fully embrace Lindsay, like for her, like her flaws and all, they could have worked.
Well, it's about the tolerance to put up, and I don't feel like Nicole is like a Lindsay as far as I don't think she'll get belligerent and berate him when she's drunk one day.
I really don't think she'll be disrespectful.
I just think you're gonna have to deal with her being annoying. Like
yes.
I think she's just kind of like annoying. Like it's about your tolerance to deal with that.
She probably herself describes herself as a lot.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Like she's self-aware.
Yeah, and there's levels of a lot. Like
yeah.
when we look at Lindsay's a lot, that was a lot, and that was a word used to describe her throughout that whole season was a lot. But her a lot may not be Nicole's a lot. Nicole's a lot is just she'll talk your ear off about nonsense you don't want to hear about.
Yeah.
And if you can tolerate that, she might be the perfect person for you.
Exactly. So our next couple, which I'm very excited to talk about because I would love to hear your opinion, is Jasmine and Eris.
Eris. Interesting name, Eris. So yes.
I cannot quite get the spelling down. Every time I spell Eris, it's different.
It's Eris, like 2 R's, right?
2 R's, yes. So air by itself and then Ris, R-I-S.
I would like to know the reasoning behind the name. So I feel like if you named a woman Eris, I think if you want to be cute, you can be like, she's the heiress to our family.
Oh yeah, just a different spelling. Yeah,
even if you spell it that way, just to be cute.
We know an Iris.
Oh, I mean that's not the same as this. But I would just be interested to know what the root of the name was from.
You can't spell Eris without Iris.
Very true. Very true. Thank you for pointing out that.
Just had to let it be known.
So Eris meets with his family and his friends to tell him about the process. Some you can tell he told some and not others. Some are shocked. Some are just kind of like, oh, really? And he warned us before he came into the family meeting. My cousin Felina, she is not going to be happy. She is going to let her opinion known.
Yes.
So we got some shocks, got some laughs. They said one of his friends said they cast you in the last hour. Like, did they find you one in the last minute? Like, how'd they find you a match? So we get our Eris intro. Eris is 39, and his little blurb is he is reformed and ready for love. So he tells us the one time that he has made himself emotionally available, he had his heart broken and got ghosted at 28 years old and spent the next decade, people, because he is 39, spent the next decade having his guard up. Interesting.
Where's your red flag?
Yeah, red flag, baby. That's, oh boy. You spent a decade having your guard up. Okay. He tells us in 1994, his dad was murdered, and he has never had a father figure in his life. He used to look for the perfect person, but then he realized that the perfect person doesn't exist. How can he expect to find that perfect person if he himself is flawed? He's not perfect either, so how can he expect anyone else to be? He tells us he met his ex's father and saw what it should look like to be like a dad, to be a husband, and envisioned himself being that type of guy someday. He wants her to join him in the journey to become better. So we're back into the family meeting, and as he predicted, Felina ain't having it. She tells him she speaks the realest talk we've ever heard a family member give to their
literally
family. She says, "You lack a lot of experience in traditional relationships. You have never shared a space with someone else or been in a real committed relationship." In a confessional, Felina says that he should just walk away because he is not ready for a marriage, and she wants him to try commitment traditionally first. He talks about, maybe this is the seismic shift that I need to find a wife. Yeah, no.
This is what you want from family.
Yes, this is the real talk that you need. Blunt. Like, I thought the Married First Sight producer probably, get her out of here. She is talking too much sense.
She's too negative.
She is a suppressive person. Get him out of get her out of his life. Get her out of the camera. She's going to convince him not to do this. Get her out of there.
How can she not support this?
She was talking too much sense. She was talking too much sense.
And I don't blame her because she knows him way better than we do. Yep. Right? So like on the surface, we could look at this like, dang, she's not supportive. But she has known Eris forever. Yes. And I'm going to listen to her because he's in this place of, I have had my guard up for the past 10 years, but I think I am ready to marry someone sight unseen.
And there's not one single person in that posse that he had when he's meeting with his family like, oh yeah, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. You are worthy of this. You deserve this. No one said that. The only thing we got was jokes from his buddies and Felina telling him he ain't ready for this. Mom didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because so many of these people were like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Like, this is what you deserve. Like, we're going to talk about Jasmine and her family, glowing reviews. Like, this you're worthy. This is for you. No one said that about Eris. Everyone's like, what you talking about?
Yeah, it's like, we need to remember this from his cousin. Like, I feel like she knows what she's talking about because I myself am like, I don't know. And to hear this from her, that was me during the matchmaking special and the kickoff special. And then to hear her say like, no, you actually need to walk away right now. And then to see in the previews, she is telling him that again.
She's trying to save him at the last minute. Say, don't do this.
She's like, bruh,
this is not
I am your cousin. I actually love you. Yes. I don't want to see you get up here and make a fool of yourself because I know how this is going to turn out. Why? Because I know you.
Because we all know you were for the streets.
He literally said bye to the streets. He literally said bye to the streets.
Yes. So yes, matchmaking special. I think something that stood out to everyone that watched it, heard a lot about it, was he had no clothes in his closet. Because Dr. Pepper did her home visit, looked in his closet. He had like 3 things hanging up in his closet. And then we found out that a lot of his clothes were in a bag that he received from his mother because his mother did his laundry and folded up his laundry for him. This man is 39 years old. 39. If you still getting your laundry done by your mommy and she's folding it all up for you at 39.
39.
You might not be ready for some adult, stuff like marriage.
He very well strikes me as one of those guys who is like, okay, well, like if his mom's not doing it, his wife's probably going to do it. And I just feel like this just at 39, you obviously you should be taking care of yourself, right?
Yes.
But it's just like such a little thing said so much. Like, why is your closet completely empty? Did you just move to Nashville 2 seconds ago? Like the weekend before Dr. Pepper visited? Because that doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue. Yeah, so and we'll see more later about why Eris might not be ready for this.
Yeah.
But for now, from the intro package, pretty obvious, I think, what both of our answers are going to be. Ready or not ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes, not ready, of course.
Right.
If there's someone in your family that is so passionate about telling you that you're not ready for this, someone that knows you as intimately as this person knows you, you might that's a red flag.
Literally.
Red flag.
Because it's not like, okay, well, I know he's a solid guy, and I know that if they match him with someone great, it really can work. This is all based on how she knows Eris is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it don't even matter to her who he's matched with. She knows Eris and knows that this is a mistake because of that. So
yes. So now we got the Jasmine introduction. Jasmine is 31, and she is the queen without a king. She has held many beauty pageant titles. She's been Miss Virgin Island, Miss Tennessee, Miss, whatever that means. I'm not sure.
Let's get Taylor on this
Let's
podcast.
get Taylor Hale here. She is her profession is a professional cheerleading coach. She coaches 10 teams, apparently, of cheerleaders. Very interesting. In addition to all of her pageantry activities. She says she's doing this because she has been with men that don't know what they want, and she wants a man that will be committed. She's single because she's been stubborn in the past and not put time aside for a relationship, but she is a relationship girl, and she's been in a relationship, she's been in many relationships that have lasted 4 to 5 years, but no one ever manned up and got engaged to her. We get a shot of her walking her dog, and I gotta say, one of the weirdest dogs I've ever seen. This dog had freakishly long legs. If anyone else noticed it, hit me up, because I freaked out when I was like, whoa, that is a weird dog.
I'm surprised I didn't take note of the length of the legs, but I am very interested to learn more about her dogs. The fact that she has 4.
Yeah, that's a lot. She is at her cousin's house. They do all these kind of cousins nights. They hang out. They do karaoke. One of her relatives, as referenced earlier, was very upset that they weren't doing karaoke. That she was brought here under false pretenses. She thought she was doing karaoke. But Jasmine does tell her family that, yes, I have been matched. Everyone wants the Aunt Pat reaction that Aunt Pat gave when she told her that. Yes. Aunt Pat jumps up and is screaming, excited, so happy for her. Aunt Pat tells her, the guys you've been dating, they've been shit, and you deserve to be happy. We get told Jasmine and Eris are matched because Eris is looking for a beautiful black queen, and Jasmine is looking for a king. Eris is suave and thoughtful and has been doing a lot of self-healing and is ready to open his heart to a woman that is accepting and devoted. When I hear self-healing, I say, what qualifies you to heal yourself?
To say
what does that mean?
I've been doing a lot of self-healing. Okay, perfect.
It flashes me back to Elijah where he's like, yeah, I've fixed myself. I've gotten off the apps. I've done this. I've done that. Eris can't even say that. But it just takes me back to that. Like, you've done a lot for your work on yourself, eh? What does that really mean? What qualifies you to heal thyself? So yeah, Jasmine, for her part, is Jasmine ready to be married? 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
both ready.
Ready. I don't know. I didn't see any red flags with Jasmine.
I don't feel like she's asking for a lot.
No, it seems like she got a good head on her shoulders. I do question why she's been in multiple relationships that lasted 4 or 5 years with no engagements.
She just said when it came down to it, they couldn't.
They couldn't, or they wouldn't?
Wouldn't.
And why wouldn't they?
Lack of commitment. If she's only, what is she, 30? You said 31?
Yes.
She's in 5-year relationships before
she just turned
31?
32 because she's when the girls met together, they had her birthday that day. So she's 32.
Yeah, imagine like she's with someone from like 18 to 23.
Yeah.
We've been together 5 years. Where's the ring? And they're like, we're 23.
Yeah, I suppose so. This is going to be an interesting match, I think. I don't really see them fitting together.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, like they look good together. They do. I put like a little initial thoughts in our Facebook group. I just feel like she has it together. Like all she's looking for is just that missing piece in her like puzzle of life.
Is she going to have super high standards? Is she going to be
as high as Kirsten?
Yeah, I was wondering, is she going to be similar to Kirsten? And is she going to be happy with what Eris is going to give her in terms of commitment and in terms of dedication? Well, that would be his problem, right? That would be what he would bring or not bring. So we'll see. I don't have high hopes, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So last but not least, we have Gina and Clint.
Oh, buddy. Buddy. They saved the best for last.
Yeah. We have Gina and Clint. So we learned about Gina. So she's telling her mom and her friend, they were in like this restaurant with a conveyor belt and the champagne came on the conveyor belt. She's like, oh, we have to celebrate. And they're like, why? She's like, because they found me a match. She's like, wait, how do you know? She's like, they told me. Her mom's like, oh my gosh. So very clearly excited, very excited and supportive. She's 35. She's a salon owner and hairstylist. She's currently working on a brick and mortar salon. And she grew up with a single mom. And she talks about just kind of how like she had to become independent because she grew up with her mom, like with a single mom. And so she talks about how like she did have an ex. I can't remember how long they were together, but she said basically their lives didn't align and he broke up with her basically just because he wasn't happy. And she does have a dog. His name is Hank. This is the doodle, right?
You would know better than me.
Yeah, I believe this is the doodle because we did see in the preview Hank is at the wedding, which yes, why have we not seen this before? All these past pups.
That is such an Asia move.
If you don't think Pepper and Cinnamon won't be the Flower Girls, then you are sadly mistaken.
Flower Girls, they're gonna walk you down the aisle.
Sorry, Dad. Pepper and Cinnamon have first dibs.
Yep, they're gonna stay up there with you as you do the vows, and they're gonna be right there.
I'm like, hey,
they're gonna ask
say
you,
I do.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna like, Pepper, do you do? They're just gonna, Cinnamon, do you do? And it's gonna be done.
Oh, exactly. So, she does say, because she is like such a boss, basically. I mean, she doesn't say that, but I mean, she's explaining that she comes off as intimidating. And so that's why she's had issues in the past dating. I mean, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't see any huge red flags.
But you're just intimidating because you own a business, or are you intimidating for other reasons?
Listen. The reason
as a strong boss babe, Aysha Welch knows that you can come off as intimidating.
Listen, and I can explain the story because I'm 100% sure they'll never see it.
I can't wait for this. Please give me the Aysha Welch story.
I literally went on a date with this guy, a couple dates, right? And I think like the second or third date. No, it was the last date. So maybe like third date. He dropped me off at my house. He's like, you have a house, you have a job, you have a nice car, you have great dogs. What do you need a man for? Literally, that is the mindset of single men these days.
What? That's baffling to me, honestly.
Yeah, so apparently it can come off as intimidating when you are an independent woman.
So does this guy think you only need a man to provide you with things? Is that what Is that what I'm gathering? Wow. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Nonsense. I promise you, it's not all men.
Okay, good to know.
I mean, yeah, I guess that can be. I don't know if intimidating is the right word. I just wonder if she's not seeing something maybe she's doing. But yeah, your story illustrates that just having things is intimidating to some people that may not even have as many things as that person does.
Right. Because it all boils down to how they view their role, or like how the roles they assume are supposed to be in a relationship. That they only see in like a heterosexual relationship, if they only see the man as being the provider, then that's the lens they're looking through. And so maybe those are the type of guys she's dealt with before. And so we can only hope that Clint doesn't think that way.
Oh boy. I did like when Mom asked, like, you're gonna have time to dedicate to this marriage with a new business? She goes, hope so. Yeah. She'll say, yes, I will for sure dedicate enough time to this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, based on what we know about Gina so far, would you say ready or not ready? 1, 2, 3.
Not.
Ooh, okay.
Ready.
First disagreement in a minute. I said ready. Jason said not ready.
I think it has more to do with timing for Gina. She's opening a salon in 3 months, a brick and mortar salon, which leads me to believe that she is kind of maybe a mobile hairdresser salon person.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe she just has like a booth at one of those multi-people salons, like where I get my hair done, like where I get my locks retwisted. It's like everybody has their own booth.
Yeah, it's like being a barber. You rent a barber chair.
Yeah.
At a barber shop. So yeah, if she's doing that, I do question how much time she's going to be able to give to the relationship. Because I mean, opening up your own business is like it's going to take a lot of work and dedication and time.
Yeah.
And I wonder if jumping into a new marriage at this moment is something that she's going to be able to do. I don't question her for her readiness to be in a relationship, readiness to be married. I just question the timing of it.
Yeah, and I can definitely see it being challenging, but I don't think it's impossible, especially if Clint is proud of her and sees it as like, I'm going to support you with whatever you need while you pursue this with your career.
Yeah, but the vibe I get off Clint is like, why aren't you spending time with me? You're my wife.
Yeah.
She's like, I have to spend time with this new business I'm creating, so I don't have time to spend with you. He's like, well, you need to be spending time with me.
He's like, the sailboat or the salon?
Pick yeah.
So on to Clint. Clint, he's telling, as he said, he's his buddy. He breaks the news to him. And so we find out Clint's 40. He loves sailing. His grandfathers were Commodores. I learned so much about sailing in this is like 1 minute. I didn't know anything about sailing. But apparently it's like a big thing in some communities. He did live with someone for 4 years. So he's kind of like, that's something he's done. He said like he started flying planes because Top Gun was his favorite movie growing up. And, you know, like his friends were saying like, hey, you know, isn't this crazy? And he's like, well, one of my mantras is embrace the crazy.
When one of his friends says, well, it's even crazy to get married to someone that you do know. Am I right? I said, okay. Yikes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So he loves adventure, and he's very much so wanting a wife who can join him along in these adventures.
Right. In that moment, he's talking about his previous relationship. He said, I was with someone for 4 years. It proved that I was able to be a family man, which I'm like, did the person have a child and you were like a stepdad? What is that? What does that mean?
No, he just meant like when he's coming home from work, did he think about her if she wanted dinner?
Maybe. But he tells us that she realized that she was changing herself to be someone he wanted, which to me was red flag number one for Clint. Is he going to try and change his significant other to be what he wants? Is history going to repeat itself? And Clint in general, getting real bad vibes from Clint, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Soda, pepper, egg, or cinnamon. I don't know who that was. So just for Clint, for me, it's like he gives off a really bluntness of Mitch from last season, but also kind of gives off the douchey vibes of Brett from season 11. That's a bad mixture as well to me.
It really is. Like, I don't that's not the two you want to be mixed with.
No. And it just seems like he has the pompousness and like the I am above you of Brett. And he's not afraid to tell you, like Mitch.
Right. Like, he's going to think, oh, I'm just being honest. Isn't that what you want? Like, honesty is fine, right?
Yeah.
But then he also is going to
kind of a dick about it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Mitch was honest, but he tried to deliver it in a good way. Yeah, I don't feel like Clint's gonna do that.
Yeah, and I wonder what Clint's type is.
Yeah, it almost feels like I think Clint almost wants kind of like, and this is a bad term, but like a trophy wife. Like he wants someone that, like you say, he can drag along with him on the sailboat at any given moment. But Gina's not going to be that. Gina's going to be, no, I can't go with you on the sailboat today. I got to work at my salon. Even though Gina told us that she likes to take spontaneous trips. She likes to go to Italy with Elena months in advance. But she's not going to be able to do that at this moment. And this is a pivotal moment for Clint and Gina. This is the beginning of their marriage.
Exactly. And I could see it being a battle of whose life is more important at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
And he just doesn't strike me as somebody who wants a boss.
Yeah, Clint also, like Mitch, does not seem like he's going to be very compromising. It's going to be his way or no way.
Yeah. So we did get the Pastor Cal explanation of why they're matched. So Pastor Cal said they both came from humble beginnings. They both they're missing someone to share their successes with. And he's looking for someone to join on his adventure. And she will be an enthusiastic yes girl.
What? Where in Gina's personality or temperament did you see she's going to be a yes woman? I don't see where that's coming from.
Me neither.
And can I say, Gina, aka Busy Phillips, aka
yes!
Elena Davies from Big Brother.
Yes.
Boy, just a dead ringer for those two ladies.
She looks like so many people. Every scene I was thinking someone different. Next episode I'm gonna try to remember who, but she is just. It's fascinating. I don't know if it's the nose or the face structure. It's wild.
I just kept getting Busy Phillips every time. I was like, she just looks a dead ringer for her. And for those that don't know Big Brother, Elena Davies was a contestant where the host Julie Chen commented how much she looked like Busy Phillips, and she did. That was true. But I was like, damn, she's dead ringer for her.
Yeah. So that brings us to Clint. Do you think he's ready or not ready? So 1, 2, 3.
Not ready with a red flag. It's not good. It's not good.
That's even more not ready than Eris.
Yeah. Clint is not just not ready to a big extreme for me.
Oh, so you think both of them are not ready? Oh, this is gonna be. Well, imagine they're like the best couple.
I just don't see that. And also in that season preview, we got quite a confrontation between those two as well.
Yeah, we did. So let's see. Okay. So the rest of the episode, we get the group meetings, the Bachelor Bachelorette party, and then finally Kirsten and Shaq's wedding. So first we got the guys meetup. So what were the main things you saw throughout the guys meetup?
There wasn't a whole. I mean, a lot of things with this meetup and with the Bachelor and Bachelorette parties were like, "Hey, we're going to show one side of this, and then we're going to show the other side." So the guys meet up. They sit down, have some pizza. Shaq says, I'm getting good vibes off of all you guys, even though I just met you 10 minutes ago.
Right.
Clint talks about how Shaq's attire is like so sharp just to come here and eat pizza. Shaq was like, they call me Dapper Dylan. I feel like Shaq is
Dapper Dan,
but his last name is Dylan. I think that's what it was.
Oh, did they say the Dylans on his wedding day?
Yeah, I think that's because there were many what you call it, because they did say the Dylans or something like that. He was like, wow, I can't believe that you're saying that. Yeah, so they talk about there's a lot that's going on in these meetings. We talk about sex, we talk about how long it's been since we had sex. Mac, they asked about attractiveness. Mac says he wants to be attracted to the woman, but he'd be fine with just a 7. Okay, all right, Mac.
Shaq said a 7.
Yeah, I want a 10. Max, of course I want a 10.
Good, because your wife wants a 10 as well. So
right. Chris says he wants someone that's athletic but goofy. I think he got one half of that. Chris. Let's see. Clint says he needs someone with a thirst for life. Gina probably fits that.
Yeah.
So Max says
maybe a different way than he's thinking.
Yeah, Matt talks about he likes to be brought out of his comfort zone, even though he's introverted. So, there could be compromise there if she's a partier. Let's see. There's kind of a lot of intersecting talks. I just kind of take it all from just a chronological way. We get also the ladies talking. Nicole is surprised that Dominique is so young at 25. Nicole says, when I was 25, this is not something I'd be able to do at all.
Right. And Dominique needs to be saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Kirsten, I'm sorry, is hoping that this is where Kirsten starts getting to her looks thing. Kirsten says, I hope my man is very handsome and genuine and wants to go all in. Gina talks about how stunning Kirsten is, and Kirsten is going to need a confident man that has swag.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole wants someone to. Okay, here we go. Nicole wants someone to keep her in check and tell her to calm down. Red flag. Red flag. That's
Chris
not what we're looking for.
Not going to do that.
We do not. If you're coming on this show to have someone to tell you to calm down and keep you quote unquote in check, you're on the wrong show. Don't come on this show. We've had that so many times. We had that with Lindsay and Mark the Shark. So I need someone to keep me in check. When someone tries to put you in check, you're not going to respond to it well. Right. So, yeah, she talks about how their safe word is going to be pineapple. And if
isn't that another safe word for couples?
Aysha, you tell me. What are you speaking of? I need you to elaborate.
I thought pineapples were a symbol for one couple to tell another couple that they were down for something. Look it up. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think we're getting a peek into Aysha's life. I don't know.
I've heard this. As much television as you watch.
Never heard of it. I don't know. You're apparently watching different things than I am, Aysha.
Listen to the definition. On a cruise, and sometimes also on land, pineapple is code for swinging or wife swapping. If you see a pineapple on a cruise ship door, it means the people are up for meeting other couples for adult fun.
Sounds like you know a lot about this topic.
That's all I know. That. Literally, that is the extent of it.
I'm gonna leave that where it lies. I'm not gonna touch it anymore. Okay. We get Dominique telling the ladies she loves girls' nights out, and she really looks forward to bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, birthday parties, and just partying with her girls. This is where we get a confessional from Kirsten that says a wife needs to be at home cooking, rubbing your man's feet, and catering to him.
In the land far, far away, you hear Olajuwon saying, "What?
What? He is running. He is running to Nashville from Boston. He is not stopping. He's like, Katina, I gotta go.
I just heard my dream girl is
like
on the
I've got a perfect
season.
match out here."
Yes.
So because of this, Kirsten does not think that Dom is ready to have a husband. Boy, that is quite a confessional from Kirsten. I did not see that. I didn't really see that coming from her.
Yeah, me neither.
So that's interesting. So that gives me a little more hope for them. Kirsten and Shaq, I should say.
Yeah.
If she's going to be in that mindset, which is interesting to me. I didn't see that coming from her at all.
Me neither. I mean, it kind of shows it like, okay, she's in this and she may be like, because she really wants to be a wife and like assume that role from what her traditional standards are and what she thinks that role is. And so it's like, okay, maybe she will be willing to make it work. But then on the other hand, she has these ridiculously high standards that it's just like, how do those two connect?
Yes. That's going to be very interesting. Baby talk comes up. Kirsten says, I want a boy first, then a girl, as if she gets to really pick like the order or the sex of any baby. Jasmine tells us that she has had baby fever, and every time she wants a baby, she gets a dog, resulting in her having 4 dogs. She says 2 golden doodles and a poodle. That's only 3 dogs. I don't know where the other one is or what the other one is.
4th dog.
Aysha, let me ask you this question. Can you relate to this at all? Just maybe.
I was like, girl, what are you talking about? I mean, from someone who got their dog a dog, absolutely. This Christmas was like my family, like my extended family's first time seeing me in action with both of my dogs. And they were like, wow, those are your children. They're like, I knew before you had 2 dogs, but the way that y'all are together, they are your actual children. I'm like, they are.
As Aysha many times has said on this podcast, that dogs are like raising children.
They are good preparation for having to care for something other than yourself, which is what you do with children, right?
Yes.
And I've never said they're the same.
Okay.
Don't put that out here in the YouTube universe.
Don't put it out in the YouTube streets. But yes, as I have countered, they are very different experiences. So in a way, it helps you take care of something, but it is nowhere near the experience of taking care of children, actual human children. As someone that has an actual human child can tell you. Yes. So then both parties get into the sex question. It's been a year for Chris. Eris in the confessional says, I call that Eris in the confessionals was doing good work here in this episode. Eris says, I call that guy 40-year-old virgin because he ain't had sex in a year. Hope he knows how to use the tools he has.
It's like, good Lord.
Over on the girl side, Gina asks about penis size. Kirsten says they better have gotten the tape measure out and measured because I want someone that has 6 or 7 inches.
And she's not lying. She did say that on the matchmaking special.
Why are we getting into that? Why does it need to be on the show?
They were like, look at how ridiculous her standards are.
Yes. Well, I mean, it depends on your point of view, I guess.
Right.
We find out that Nicole has not had sex in 2 years, but she has wanted to be in a relationship first before she got into a sexual relationship. She does explain on After Party that yeah, it's been 2 years, but since I've been to Nashville, but we had just had a pandemic. So she is someone that's, maybe a little more cautious than others
Yeah.
In this pandemic universe. Jazz says, hey, if it comes up first night, if sex comes up, I'm down. We talk about with the boys how long it's been since we had sex. For Eris, it's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Applied for this well before 2 weeks ago. Meaning, this is a potential thing that I'm doing. Maybe I should be considerate of that fact. But on the after party, he proceeds to say, oh, well, I didn't know if I was going to get this or not. So I didn't want to just be like, giving up opportunities.
There's a couple schools of thought here. Should you forego all relationship things because this may or may not be happening for you? He didn't know this was going to be happening for him 2 weeks ago. He, yes, maybe knew he was a finalist.
He knew Pastor Cal or Dr. Pepper had been to his house.
Yes, very true.
Here's my thought. Married at first sight is obviously not the conventional way of doing things. Any other marriage that you've been in a relationship with that person, right? So you've already have not been in other relationship with other people for however long y'all are together. Even if y'all were together for a month and then decide to get married. So in this situation, if you know that you have applied and you are in consideration, you need to be getting yourself mentally prepared for that. Like you are about to be locked in with somebody. And so if you're thinking of it as oh, did I get the job or not? Well, let me keep applying to other places. That's not the mindset. Because then 2 weeks ago, you were living as a single man. That's like putting yourself in a position of like, okay, single, walk down the aisle. Now I'm forever committed.
Which is what a lot of these people say that it's going to happen, but it's not. But it almost, should you shut yourself off completely to someone that maybe, can you date but not have sex? What if you're shutting yourself off to someone that could be your life partner because you may or may not get married at first sight?
Well,
how long beforehand can you say I'm giving up on the married at first sight thing?
When you get a call back, when you are in consideration,
that said you didn't get it, then you could be like, oh, I can go date again.
For sure. But yeah. I think if you have gotten a call, you are in the process. Dr. Pepper and Pastor Kyle are communicating with you. You should be done with single life. You are imaginarily engaged at that point.
Yeah, and Chris brought up a good point as he's talking in a confessional about the fact that Eris and both Eris and Clint have said it's been only 2 weeks. He says, I got numbers and things, but I wasn't going to pursue anything because I knew that this is a possibility, and I didn't want to hurt any of those girls whose numbers I was getting, and I didn't want to start something then have to dump them because I got married at first sight, which I think is a good point as well.
Exactly. Eris was literally in a month-and-a-half relationship, he says 5-week relationship with, or at least dating the woman that he was intimate with 2 weeks ago, and had to have an in-person conversation to break things off because a text would have been rude at that point because they had developed feelings for each other.
Yeah, and that did not go well. And that in-person meeting did not go well, according to him.
That's too much. Why are you doing that?
Yeah. So I think, I am on the side of you should probably cut it off if you know that you're in final rounds for Married at First Sight. Like you said, if you're getting filmed, if you're getting a Cal Pepper visit, that's probably a good time for you to cut it off because you know that you're at least in contention, and you probably only have to wait another couple weeks before they tell you that you're not going to do it if you're not.
They're not saying, okay, it's 2021. I need you to wait an entire year and then we'll let you know. Yeah. This was literally in the making, about to happen. Is it that hard not to date?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're having trouble curtailing your desires for a couple weeks to a month,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You are not ready.
You are so not ready.
And look, the two guys we said not ready for, the ones who 2 weeks ago.
But we found out on After Party, Mac also had a relationship that he had to cut off.
2 weeks to a month ago.
Yeah. So these guys are horned up.
They're like, look, and that's another thing I thought of. That's total. There's no consideration for the woman, the women that they are dating, because if I met somebody, we're dating, they're like, oh, by the way, I applied to like get married to somebody at first sight. Then what are we doing? Where are we going?
We're killing time. We're killing time until I got to go to Married at First Sight.
I would rather do anything else than just kill time going on pointless dates.
The only thing worse than a breakup text because of MAFS is a text that your girlfriend got engaged to another dude.
Right.
Hey, I know we've been dating for a while, but I'm about to go get married to this other person like tomorrow, so we're probably not gonna be able to do anything for anymore. And Rudy was like, "So you had to block that girl, right?" It's like, "No, I didn't block.
We didn't block each other.
No one's blocked. Gotta keep my options open." He didn't say that, but
right.
So Eris, who is asking all the sex questions on the guy's side, says, "What do you guys feel about sex the first night?" Max says that, in that situation, it could happen. Shaq says I won't be mad if it happens, but it probably won't happen. Eris, being Eris, says, "Hey, I was gonna go with the flow. If she's into it, I'm into it." Clint, of course, says if they're vibing, it's game time. And Shaq in a confessional says, I think that's a great idea to do it on the first night because that's going to set the tone for your whole relationship. You don't want to rush too fast at things the first night. Clint cheers to having sex with their brides. Gross ass. And that's the meetup.
They sound like last season's guys.
Yeah.
That's the focus.
Sex maniacs.
Right. Good Lord.
Yeah, that's the initial meetup for the guys. I don't think we got anything too crazy. Like an Alexis obviously not liking Lindy in their first meetup last season.
Yeah, that was yeah. So then we had the Bachelor and Bachelorette parties. Both parties had strippers. For the Bachelor party, it wasn't as wild as the Bachelorette party, I will say. The main one, like, wilding out was Clint. He just was, like, working the room, dancing with everybody. We did get a conversation with Shaq talking to his friends, and he was like, Dapper Dylan is ready to consummate. He's like, but it's on the girl. It's just like...
They juxtapose that shot with Kirsten getting a mustache ride from a stripper.
Yes. Yeah. Like, meanwhile, Shaq was like sitting down, having this conversation away from all the
quiet
action.
Convo.
Yeah. We also learned at the Bachelor party, Eris put his dating apps on snooze.
Now, you are a dating app user, connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
What does that exactly mean?
That means that you're invisible.
Okay.
Like,
is that a button? Is that a button on the thing where I can snooze my account? Is that what
I can snooze it for today, or I can snooze it indefinitely. My profile is still there. All of my past conversations are still there. And no one can, like, I just won't come up new on anybody to swipe right on. And I also can't do any swiping while it's in snooze mode. So
Chris says he deleted all his apps.
Yes.
Does that mean he deletes them off the homepage, or does that mean he goes into his account and just deactivates his entire account?
That's the great question. Because with Katina, she deleted the account but didn't delete the apps.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. Yeah, I think that's
what happened. She's like, I had good intentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does matter because he could easily download that again. All his stuff's still there. Yeah. What Eris is doing is this may not work out, so it's here when I need it to come back.
How long is this? 8 weeks? Right. Let me snooze my stuff for 8 weeks.
And that's totally different from earlier conversation, us talking about Nicole and her saying this is her last straw. Yes, you have to be realistic that this may not work, but you also have to give your all. You have to give it a chance to work. You putting your apps in putting your profile on snooze means you don't want to lose any of the dips you had before. You don't want to have to redo your profile. You don't have to put new pictures. You don't have to. He wants it there for if this doesn't work out, which is just like, it's basically like as if he told the woman that he was seeing before, hold on.
I'm gonna put you
pause.
on snooze.
Yes, pause. I can't talk to you for 8 weeks, but don't forget me, okay? I'll be back.
Don't go get married in 8 weeks.
Right.
But it's like he's hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Like, I'll be
Even
back
hoping
in 8
for the
weeks.
best is deleting the apps.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna do this, you gotta deactivate everything.
Yep. You have to go into settings and select delete account. I literally feel like Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal need to sit down with all of them and say, look, we know this is a dating app heavy world. We need to see y'all because we're having too many issues with this. This should not be a problem. You're just continuing to have options.
They say, give me your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go in and delete everything. We're gonna do it for you because we don't want any any loose trails out there.
Right. So then also at the after party, at the bachelor party, Clint asked them, are they ready to settle down with one vagina? Is that what we have reduced women to?
They are just a vagina for our purposes, for our uses.
That was just so gross. I was just like, oh. And Max, like, look, I've had enough hookups. I'm ready to settle down. And was it Eris that was like, I'm ready to just master one? Yeah,
I'm ready to know everything about this one. Which direction do I approach it from? Like, gross.
Goodness. I had enough of that bachelor party. With the bachelorette party, we did hear Nicole. She says, like, it's the bachelorette party of the world. That's where she fell in love with Nashville, going there for the bachelorette party. I will say, one of my friends had her bachelorette party in Nashville. I wasn't able to make it, so it's just like,
couldn't get your private jet for the night.
I can't remember why I couldn't go, but people do. She's right. People do plenty of bachelorette parties there. And so really one of the Gina, this is her first time seeing a stripper.
You say that as if like Aysha Welch is out there at strip clubs every other night. How is it gonna be your first time, Gina? I didn't see you probably about 30.
I'm not saying that at all. That was just an odd statement.
Gina, for the first time I've seen him, she was getting buck. She was getting buck wild there with the stripper.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can't tell. You look like you know how to interact with them. One of the strippers took a shot out of Dominique's cleavage.
Yeah.
Yes.
But wow, that was I was taken aback. I was like, how that is very, very, very up close and personal. Extremely.
Then later we see her take her. She's like, "Oop, I forgot my vape was in there."
Messy.
So messy. I never thought on this show we would hear this, but one of Kirsten's friends, she was like, "Are you gonna bust it wide open?" She said, "And tell him bring it back." The way I had forgotten about that song. And I was like, do I need to listen to that? But that was funny. Because that's a song.
We also can't forget Nicole doing a body shot off of a stripper's abs. Like,
yes.
Gross. Right? You know how sweaty and dirty that man probably is?
Right. I literally was thinking that when he was like dancing on one of them, I was like, he is literally sweating. Yeah.
Gross.
So the bachelorette party ends with Dominique chatting it up with one of them. She says she's more than a B cup. They are just like the other girls are literally hoping that Dominique doesn't get his number.
They are looking like, I mean, as the show shows it, they are looking at her like, don't do it, girl. Don't do that. That's the vibe she's giving talking to this guy. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people talking there, but the vibe is a very flirty vibe that Dom is giving off to this this stripper person.
Yes. So yeah, that was pretty much. Oh, I thought it was funny, Nicole. When Dominique was talking to the stripper, that Nicole was like, "That's not her husband unless Dr. Pepper is matching with strippers." That's
exactly what I was about to call out. That was so funny.
Oh, that Nicole and Eris. Yes, Nicole is funny. Chris thinks he's funny, but I think once he meets Nicole, he's gonna realize, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not funny. She's funny.
Right. And I think Eris is gonna be entertaining in confessionals. Will he be a great husband? That's to be determined. But will be entertaining because he's telling exactly how he feels about people. So then we end with the beginning of Kirsten and Shaq's wedding.
Yeah, I mean, so we do the whole thing. Kirsten gets woken up by her bridesmaids. Oh my god, we stuck into your bedroom. We're jumping on the beds with you. Oh my gosh. As Kirsten tries to like be like, oh my god, I just woke up. I'm not decent. I'm trying to hold myself together. She tells us she never thought she'd marry a stranger. She hopes he is kind and ready to lead. She again talks about how picky she is and how hard it is to find a black guy that she likes, and praise that she is attracted to him. Again, the attraction is a big point with Kirsten.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Shaq enters his hotel room that he's getting ready in with his groomsmen. He makes this weird comparison. He says it almost feels like how it felt when I was becoming an uncle for the first time. I said, really, Shaq? Break that down for me. Right. And he doesn't really. He says,
yeah, you're like, I'm gonna need more than that.
Yeah, he says, I became an uncle for the first time, and now I'm becoming a husband for the first time.
Same thing.
I said, that don't really match, Shaq. That don't really match. Help me out, Shaq. He doesn't. He just left it at that. And then Shaq gets really deep. Shaq talks about all the lonely times he's had, all the struggles he's had that no one knows about, how much he has prayed about this. And he gets real deep.
He does. He does tear up, right?
This is a little later when he's talking to his buddies, where he really starts to cry. But Shaq's got some demons, I think. Shaq's got some stuff he has to deal with.
Right. This screams like, Shaq, have you been working this out in therapy prior to getting married?
Yeah, maybe.
Because if not, it's only going to come up in your marriage. Like, if this isn't something that, once the I-do's are said, it just magically disappears.
And listen, reality show producers are ruthless. If they figure out you got some demons, they're gonna try and pull it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go back to Kirsten. Kirsten's mom has not shown up yet. They try to call her, but it's going straight to voicemail. People are starting to get worried. They're like, I hope my mom's okay. And she says, if my mom misses this wedding, I'm going to be heartbroken. I'm like, damn, is that really a concern? Like, your mom's just not going to show up? Your mom's just going to no call, no show on your wedding?
Right. I feel like they were trying to make it seem like almost like, okay, her dad wasn't there, and then her mom made the decision not to come.
Or her mom was in danger. Like, I was like,
yeah, she's just late.
What's happening? Yeah, she's just late and doesn't pick up her phone. Shaq talks about how this has been a transition year for him. He got a new job. He moved to a new city, and it's crazy that he's here right now. He says he's nervous. He painted this perfect picture of what his wedding and his marriage would be, and what if it's not like that? And it's a 360 of what he thought. Shaquille.
Right where he started.
You're going. You got your doctorate. I should hope that you know.
Maybe not in math.
Maybe not in math. The 360, you're back right where you were. You want a 180. That's what you're looking for. Kirsten's getting made up. Her friend asks about the kiss. Chris says, well, it's not going to be a tongue kiss. And the girl says, yeah, girl, because we don't do that. That's not what we're doing here. And then we again get into the talk of, are there any non-negotiables in terms of looks for your husband? Kirsten says, I do want him to have a low haircut. The friend asked what I feel like the producers have the friends ask all the time. What if he's bald? She says, oh, I'm not sure I want a bald-headed man. But she does like beards. So
right.
that's something Shaq's got going for him.
But is it going to be like, okay, I like beards usually, but not
on
beard.
Bald heads. I like beards, but not on bald heads.
Right.
We find out that Kirsten's dad is not going to be there because he didn't want to take a COVID test.
As like, is he not vaccinated?
I would think that would have to be the case. And we just are saying it's because of a test. Because I can't imagine if you got vaccinated, you wouldn't have a problem taking the test.
Right.
So I feel like we're not saying a lot of what should be what we mean and what should be said. That maybe we are dealing with an anti-vaxxer. Maybe they didn't want to say that. Rudy does ask about it on the after party.
Mm-hmm.
Chris says, well, he's a Christian man and he is strong in his values and he's strong-willed. This man didn't get no COVID vaccine, y'all. And I mean, listen. Everyone is free to their choices. It's totally up to you. But I don't know how dedicated are you to this stance,
right?
As you're going to miss your daughter's wedding because of it. I think all YouTube viewers are getting a special treat. We have got is that cinnamon?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it
Good
first try.
Good
You got
job.
cinnamon on the camera, in mommy's lap,
in my ear.
In her ear. So we find out Kirsten's dad's not gonna be there because he didn't want to take a COVID test, which is odd. Okay.
Yeah, and it's also funny on after party that Kirsten was like, oh yeah, I called him to tell him like I was getting married at first sight, and Jasmine was like, of course you called him. So I wonder if that's just the dynamic of their relationship. Because Rudy was like, oh.
Kirsten was scared to call. Kirsten was scared to tell her daddy.
Yeah. Because Rudy was like, oh, does he live far? She's
like, no, around the corner.
Nashville.
Yeah. At least Kirsten didn't pull a Kristen and get him in there under false pretenses and then tell him that day.
Right.
So mom finally arrives with no explanation why she's late. She just pops up. Yeah, hey. Kirsten tells her, I was getting a little bit annoyed, but then says she's happy she's there safe.
She should have had like Starbucks in her hand. Whenever you're late,
I was picking up
you
something.
gotta.
I mean,
yeah.
How late was she? Were we trying to pull this for drama? Was she like 20 minutes late? Like,
right?
What was the drama?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to Shaq, and this is where we get him talking about how the silent battles that he's had that he's told no one about, and he always tries to be strong. He's really starting to sob and cry here, but he is happy in this moment. All his buddies come over to him and hug him. He says, I really prayed for this, and it may not be traditional, but this is the way that I want it.
Yeah.
In a confessional, he says he doesn't want to feel alone anymore, but he is scared that his life is about to change drastically, and he isn't sure what he will do if this doesn't work out.
Another
big statement.
Yeah, another Nicole right here.
Yeah.
You have options if it doesn't.
You'll be okay.
Right. This is not the end all be all. If it doesn't work out, that's the end of everything.
Yes.
I do understand really wanting it to work out, but just to be lost in the sauce if it doesn't work out, that's rough.
I will say this, y'all. We got bad track records when it comes to criers right before the wedding. So we'll see.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach, Olajuwon. I mean, I guess Olajuwon is still technically a success story for now, but
right.
We saw how that season was going. So the wedding is starting to start. Everyone's starting to get ready and filed in. Shaq and Kirsten are doing their final touches. Shaq is outside of the I guess reception hall or whatever, and his grandmother comes over to him, and he seems surprised to see her, that he didn't know he was going to see her in this moment. He cries to her, and she tells him she's proud of him, and she says she loves him, she's happy for him, and with God everything will fall in place, and if it's for you, it's for you. Now we do find out on after party that unfortunately Shaq's grandmother did pass away recently, and this was actually the last day that he saw her in person. So yeah, very tough moment. He was very emotional after party about it. So yeah, that was powerful.
It really was, because rarely do we get a present day update about something that was in that moment in time. on After Party. And he also said like he didn't tell her he was getting married. He just said it was like a work thing. He was getting a reward.
He said I didn't tell her because of her health issues. But then we told her that I was getting a award at work. So you got her there under false pretenses. You weren't worried about that aspect of surprising her like this for her health. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
But yeah, I was very shocked to find out that was the last day he saw her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he also talks about it's the what ifs in his mind that are scaring him right now. He comes down the aisle and her friends do seem impressed. They're like, oh, okay. All right, for our friend, this is good. While her other friends are getting her ready and getting ready to walk in, they ask her, give what's going to be your signal if you like him or don't like him. She says, if I don't like him, maybe I'll just give him a cheek kiss and that's it. Going to come back later, so pay attention to that. In a confessional, she says she hopes that he asks if he can kiss her and just doesn't kiss her outright. And at that moment, she'll either tell him yes or just give him the cheek at the altar.
Ooh, and that's a setup, man. Like, if you that goes as far as like predicting conversations. Like when you're like mad about something, you're gonna confront somebody. You're like, if they don't say this, then like.
And I don't know from the guy's perspective, if it's presumptuous to go in for the kiss with your wife because it just seems like a normal thing to do with your wife, even though you are meeting for the first time.
Right.
I think the best scenario is to ask for it, of course, because you always want to get consent, especially with a stranger you just met.
Right.
But I don't think it's a cardinal sin if they don't ask and assume that you're going to kiss at the altar like normal brides and grooms do.
Right.
But we've seen it so many ways in the Married at First Sight seasons past. So it's kind of a mixed bag what you're going to get.
Right. And, I feel like in this situation, it's a nice to have. Like, it would be really nice and courteous of him if he did ask. But if y'all meet and the vibes are there.
Are you reading the vibe right is the question.
It's right. So, yeah, it definitely is the most appropriate thing to ask. Is it okay? But
not just here, but in every scenario, fellas.
Yes.
And ladies.
Right.
So
we didn't see her walk down the aisle yet.
Yeah, we get the bridesmaids walking down the aisle. She tells us again, if he is not the man she is expecting, she will be disappointed. So she goes to walk down the aisle, and that's where the episode.
She can't hide her facial expressions. We've already seen that.
Yeah, so she gets ready to walk down the aisle, and that's where the episode officially ends. We get a next time on. It's looks like just about everybody except for Mac and Dom are at least going to start their wedding, because we didn't get any Mac and Dom getting married in the preview. So I think next episode we're going to get the majority of the starts of the weddings, maybe if not the whole weddings.
I could see them finishing Kirsten and especially Kirsten and Mac, Kirsten and Shaq.
Yeah.
And then maybe doing one other and starting a third.
Yeah, I can
they
see
gotta
that.
drag it.
Yeah, we're seasoned veterans at this point. They're going to stagger these weddings, so they're getting different parts of the weddings at different times for all these couples.
Yeah.
We'll get Kirsten and Shaq's reception probably in episode 3, while someone else is just starting to get married. It's a whole thing.
Episode 6, they'll probably start.
Gosh, yeah. So in the preview, you also get Eris's cousin trying to talk him out of this again right before the wedding. So you don't have to do this. We can go right now. And then we do see the Kirsten and Shaq kiss. That she does seem to give him the cheek to kiss.
She does.
But
there's no seam. We saw him kiss her on the cheek.
But the edit is weird because it cuts off at an interesting point. Because I would say that right after that, because it looks like he may be talking to her as it's happening. Maybe he's asking for the kiss at that point, and it's just kind of awkward. I do think he might get the lip kiss because it cuts off at a really awkward moment. While they're still kind of in an embrace.
Yeah.
The whole kiss is weird. I'm saying that. So maybe it's not totally, a cheek kiss thing. I think the editing may be misleading us.
This picture of them is my main concern. Every other picture looks like this is the best they could find of them on their wedding day. This. her with the forced cheek,
no teeth,
and him looking like, what did I just get myself into? But I'm going to raise my eyebrow for a facial smile. That's my concern. That one picture.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Oof, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, the only other thing we didn't talk about was Kirsten and Shaq choosing their wedding dresses and in his suit, which was only telling that they were going to do their wedding this episode.
Yeah,
nothing there.
Nothing was there at all. I really wish they would take the Love Is Blind method and do all that at once. Because in Love Is Blind, they have all the grooms go with their families. They're all 5 or 6 grooms are there with their families all at the same time, and they get it all done in one chunk. I really wish they would do that, because we're going to see every single couple pick out their wedding dress and tux, which is going to is not needed at all.
Not at all. So that's it. Thank y'all for sticking with us. We had a lot to cover here. Okay. This is technically the 3rd episode that has aired this season. The premiere is the 3rd episode, because we had the matchmaking special and the kickoff special. So we had a lot to catch up on to get to the point of talking about the premiere. But thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Definitely go subscribe, and subscribe to Rob Has a Podcast YouTube channel for one. We will be on YouTube this season, so subscribe so that you can get these videos on your feed, on your YouTube, not YouTube feed. You know what I mean. If you're subscribed, you'll see us. Okay, you won't have to search for us every time. And then also subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed, wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify. Wherever you get your podcast, so that you can get our podcast, and then make sure that you leave us a 5-star rating review. If you enjoyed this, please leave us a thumbs up on the YouTube channel or a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, and we would be forever grateful.
Yeah, I mean, if you come to YouTube, you can also see the picture that Aysha has on her desk that she, make sure that is in her camera shot of Pepper, her pride and joy.
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunate when if I'm on a podcast with like more than 4 people, so like the Survivor draft, you can't get this wide of a shot, and so you don't see Pepper.
What a shame.
But everything else that I'm on with video, you will get her, and I do need to get one with Cinnamon, or put a picture in there of both of them. That I have plenty of those. So yes, Jason, what are you up to? Where can people find you?
I just finished coverage over on Poster Recaps of the show Welcome to Chippendales. Very interesting show. Had a lot of ups and downs. Check the show out, then check out my podcast coverage with Sarah Carradine, aka Doc, on this podcast, where she comes and makes guest appearances. We had a fun time talking about the show, even on times we didn't enjoy the show as much. So check us out there. We just wrapped up the season there, and other than that, you can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085 for any other nonsense I'll be getting into. Aysha, what about you?
So y'all can find me at Aysha like Aysha, that's AYSHA like ASIA on Twitter. Give me a follow. Right now I'll just be podcasting about Married at First Sight, and then in a couple weeks I will be joining a few people to play the game Ticket to Ride on the Rob Has a Podcast. We'll be live on the Rob Has a Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel on January 17th, playing that game. So I'm excited because I've never played it before, and just excited to give it a go. But yeah, if y'all are interested in, I've mentioned my dogs maybe once or twice so far. So if y'all are interested in dog content, please go follow us on TikTok at Malshipoo Sisters. That's MALSHIPOO Sisters. I try to post a lot of content. It's funny because between Instagram and TikTok, with the videos I post, I probably have 10 times the amount of those videos, because I don't post everything I record. I just post a few things.
It's just a few hundred every day. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely go give me a follow wherever. And yeah, of course, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel And thank y'all for sticking with us. We're very excited to be covering this season. So can't wait to see what happens with these couples and making our determination on how they're doing as a couple, as you know, once they start to meet. So looking forward to that. Make sure you go subscribe to the Facebook or join the Facebook group. As a reminder, the password is 2 weeks with however many question marks.
Yeah. How outraged you are will be the exclamation points and the question marks you can put in.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for sticking with us. We will see y'all next week. Bye.